What do we know about the Mayans? Well, many of us associate them with the end of the world. You know, remember that whole thing back in December. But it's really a culture that's rich beyond the calendar cycle. This morning, Holly is learning more about Mayan culture and giving us a look at Heavenly Jade of the Maya in Northwest. Good morning, Holly.
Good morning to you, Tony. And you know, this exhibit really is a celebration of the Maya people. And the Maya people are the creators of one of the most ancient cultural traditions and worlds out there in the Americas. And there still is so much to learn about them. And lucky for us, Dr. Christina Elson, who is the co-founder of Science Visualization, is helping us navigate this amazing exhibit. So last hour we were talking and I said, what are some of the things you need to make sure you see? And you said, well, some of the jade, which makes sense since it's called Heavenly Jade of the Maya. So let's talk a little bit about a few of the pieces and just about jade in general.
Okay, so I just wanted to point out two pieces here that are very different. This is a very old, much older version of a dios called Kawil, which was a patron of royal dynasties, royal Maya dynasties. And this is a much later version of a carved diadem that might have been worn in a headdress by a king or queen. And it's very interesting to look at the intricate detail in this piece. And also when we realize that the Maya made these pieces of jade using very rudimentary technology, what we consider rudimentary technology. So it was sand, string, water, and abrasion. And jade is one of the hardest stones, and particularly the hardest in the New World. So this is a very, very complicated piece.
Figuring out how they did it is one of the most fascinating things, I think. And you know, while there's a lot of beautiful, wonderful things to see here, this exhibit is also about jade conservation in general.
That's right. And the bank has been very generous in supporting a conservation effort in Guatemala. Some newly discovered headdresses from the site we spoke about earlier, Waka. There's a headdress that was found in a royal tomb of a queen. Right now it's in over 1,600 pieces of jade. And they all need to be put back together so that this beautiful object can be appreciated and displayed in the National Museum. So we're very excited about that.
That's a long-term project.
Yes.
Putting that back together. Well, speaking of the bank, many of you might be going, okay, what does the IDB have to do with all this? Well, Ivan Duque Marquez is with me. He is the Chief of Cultural Solidarity and Creativity Affairs Division of the Office of External Relations at the Inter-American Development Bank. I think all of that says you're really important.
Well, I think what's important is the work that we do. I mean, the Inter-American Development Bank has been working in culture for 20 years with two objectives. One, to provide financing to cultural entrepreneurs in Latin America, and most importantly, to disseminate the cultural richness of the Latin American countries.
You know, I think a lot of people may not even realize that this art gallery is here, and what an opportunity it is for them to come and see different things. And I know you have lots of things going on here, but when I was reading what you wrote in the book, you said this exhibit in particular is very important for the IDB Cultural Center. Why this exhibit?
Well, I think because what we try to do is use culture to disseminate the bank's work in Latin America and the Caribbean. And the indigenous communities are a key element of our work. We try to work with the indigenous communities for them to have access to better opportunities. So we use this exhibition not only to showcase the heritage and historical richness, but also to demonstrate that this institution has a permanent connection with the indigenous population of Latin America.
Because while we're talking about the ancient culture and Maya people of the past, there is a Maya people of the present.
Yes, we're talking about almost 6 million people in 5 countries in Latin America that come from a Mayan origin.
So you asked me what's my favorite piece. I'm going to ask you live on TV, what's your favorite piece?
My favorite piece is the god corn in that corner. Is the oldest
we showed that, the oldest, the 800 BC head. That's pretty amazing.
And also the court of the Mayan king.
And we showed that. See how good we are? We knew. We started with that. Now we're expanding on to even more that you have here. So you're going to want to allow some time to come out and enjoy Heavenly Jade of the Maya. It is here at the IDB Cultural Center, and it's only here through February 15th. So limited time left. Come on out and make sure you take part. And if you are really interested in a special experience, this coming Tuesday, February 5th, they actually have a lecture that's going to go on here from someone from National Geographic. They're going to show a documentary, and then there's going to be a curator-led tour of the exhibit. So if you really want to go in depth, that's an experience you might want to find yourself involved in. We're going to continue to be involved in our next hour. Meanwhile, we'll send it back into the studio to Tony and Wisdom.